everybody is picking up these powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards, but should you? There are actually some strong Yu-Gi-Oh cards that people are looking into, whether it be the ban list, Genesis format, or just gearing up for the next YCS. Players are always trying to edge one another. Wait, yo, hold on, time out. In today's video, not only will I be talking about some popular cards that Yu-Gi-Oh players are buying out, I'll also even give you my opinion on if these cards are worth it or not. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with y'all big dogs? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. So you're probably wondering how my girls are doing right now. Me too. To give you guys some preface, I have been coaching a girls flag football team, and last year they didn't win a single game. This year, we're 8-3, baby! I might just get coach of the year. We have a guaranteed playoff spot, and by the time you get this video, we would have played our last game of the regular season, and it does not matter. 8-4, 8-3, 6-7, it doesn't matter. Of course, I pre-recorded this video, so I will give you guys the update as soon as I get the information. But I just want to give a special thanks to all of my 8th graders that came out here and balled. There's Roof, Moani, Blue, Juju, Miley. I think that's about all the 8th graders. We don't have a lot. Oh, how could I forget about the blockhead Caitlin? I know you guys are probably watching this video, so thank you guys so much for allowing me to coach you and bringing me into your lives. You guys are phenomenal. Also, if you spoil my YouTube channel to any of the students at the school, I promise you will be running laps for the rest of the year. So now that you bucketheads got your personal shoutouts, get off my video. We're gonna start talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! The first card we have to talk about is a card that addresses the elephant in the room. In case you guys have been living under a rock, some of the new cards on the ban list, or every single new card on the ban list, has been a Floodgate. The October 2025 emergency ban list was put into place to curb all of the floodgates that players have been using. But there's still floodgates in Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have been experimenting with cards like Kozmoll Archfiends or Gazelle Prison. Kozmoll Archfiend says this turn, neither player can special summon monsters with the same card types Ritual, Synchro, Fusion, Exceed, or Link as they already control. This card in theory is a stronger dimensional barrier because it can actually stop Link summoning. Gazelle Prison is an older and a little bit weaker card. It says if you control a face-up monster that was Tribute, Ritual, or Fusion summoned, until the end of the turn, neither player can Synchro or Exceed summon. Also, Synchro and Exceed monsters can attack and their effects are negated. Now, these two cards are interesting is because they try to emulate a banned card in Dimensional Barrier. Now, of course, as I said before, I'm going to give you my thoughts on these cards and if they're worth investing, if they're okay, or if they're just straight up dog water. And I think both Gazelle Prison and Kozmoll Archfiend are worth investing, but not great cards. You're probably like, what? Fortunately, these Yu-Gi-Oh cards were well thought out. Both of them being fairly restrictive and having drawbacks. Keep in mind, Kozmoll Archfiend doesn't negate any monsters and requires players to double up on the mechanic that they're already doing, and Gazelle Prison only stops Exceeds and Synchros. These cards, in comparison to Dimensional Barrier, are straight garbage. But these cards are worth picking up simply because they're so cheap still. 40 cents for some super rares is a drop in the bucket and I think is a worthwhile investment. Just don't buy too many copies. Now, as you guys know, I like to alternate between modern format and Genesis format because Genesis is incredible. If you guys haven't heard of Genesis format, it's literally Yu-Gi-Oh! With any card being viable except for links and pendulums. It's basically 2012 Yu-Gi-Oh! Modernized to 2025. It also means that Exceed focused decks like Exo Sisters are the furthest in the curve. Seeing that Exceed monsters were the last viable mechanic, Exceed monsters have a significant edge. And Exo Sisters being a Yu-Gi-Oh! Strategy that is based off of when your opponent uses cards in the graveyard, they get the Exceed summon, these cards are pretty significant. Also, when Burst Protocol comes out, we'll be getting a new set of Exo Sister cards that take the strategy to the next level. I really wouldn't be surprised if this deck did receive points in Genesis format, but even if it does, the two new cards seem incredibly viable for modern format too. This has made Exo Exo Sister cards completely soar in price. Exo Sister Ellis for a secret rare is now $4. Martha is at least $10 for the secret rares. If you want an amazing rarity of packs, you're gonna pay $10. And Exo Sister Magnifica and Macias to the moon! Fortunately enough, the deck is really cheap if you want to play a budget version, but as far as buying Exo Sisters right now, no. Unless you refer to them as Exo Stepsisters, which means you need the cards right now, there is no reason to buy into the hype. I want you guys to hear me out. Exo Sister hasn't really been doing too crazy in Genesis format. And while when Burst Protocol comes out, that may change, we still have quite some time until Burst Protocol. In my humble opinion, it's smarter to just wait till people forget about Exo Sister. They're going to chase the new trend, and these cards are going to go down slightly before the new set comes up, and that's when you pick them up. Another modern Floodgate card that players are looking at is Gravity Collapse. Gravity Collapse is a pretty powerful card. By tributing off a synchro monster, your opponent can't summon monsters for the rest of the turn. This card on paper seems like a game-winning card, especially if you're playing a deck like Yummy. So why didn't you play it in a deck like Yummy before? Gravity Collapse is a Yu-Gi-Oh card that reminds me of an even older school Yu-Gi-Oh card called Non-Aggression Area. Non-Aggression Area, on theory, looks like a crazy strong card. You can prevent your opponent from summoning monsters for the duration of the turn, but in practice, it just doesn't seem to work out how you want it. Now, I'm not telling you guys not to pick up any Gravity Collapses at about 40 cents a copy, but if I'm being honest, this feels like an even bigger waste of space, even with Killer Toon coming out, because this card feels like it's going to get reprinted. In my opinion, this card is even worse in practice than the first two cards, but if you do have the extra change running around, it's better to have a playset than the not. Just like how it's always better to have your playset of Raven Wing sleeves. What's that, brother man? This is only one? What-cha-cha? I got 3. Raven Wing is the #1 sleeve in the entire universe. And it is so much of the best sleeve, and I am so much of a generous person, I also made it cheaper than my competitors. So if you guys want to support the channel in a different type of way while also getting something in return, go ahead and go to TheCaliEffect.com and purchase your sleeves today. Also on TheCaliEffect.com, you can even get dope mats like this, baby! This damn near a Genesis mat, my boy. You know it. It looks dope. Dark Arm JD. Everybody, I humbly thank you guys so much for your support. Now let's move on to the next card. The latest Deck Chronicles, The Fallen, and The Virtuous is a complete smash. This is one of the best structured decks of all time, boasting reprints to very powerful and once hard to get cards like Triple Tactics Thrust and the Bestial Lubellion, while also doubling down to give you new support, making Branded competitive again, and also giving you a glimpse into what the future can hold. Players have taken advantage and have bought up all of the Branded cards. I personally think Branded is one of the better decks in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. Even without the new support that we have confirmed in Burst Protocol, the deck is an instant smash. In Genesis, players are buying out No Punk Rising Scale, a monster that made his debut in Battles of Legends Monsters Mayhem and can special summon itself by banishing a Punk and then special summoning a Punk monster from your deck. While Punk itself has not become one of the most dominant decks in Genesis, it does have a ton of potential. And No Punk Rising Scale is one of the very few Punk cards that doesn't have a reprint and probably isn't going to get one anytime soon. If you were to ask me, you probably should have gotten this card upon release. I mean, I did tell you to buy it before it skyrockets in price. No, I actually meant to tell you guys to buy this card a long time ago, but I saw a deck profile from MST TV and he was showing off Kozmoll Dark Lady. The thing here about K9 is that it's a Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that can special summon level 5 monsters to the field. So it means that any level 5 monster that doesn't lock you out of the game is free game. It's the reason why Artifact Mjolnir is a pretty powerful card. Now, Kozmoll Dark Lady isn't Artifact Mjolnir. It's not stopping anybody out of their turn, but it's actually one of the closest things you're going to get to Cyber Dragon Infinity in main deck monster form, especially for K9. Being a monster, you can just plop to your side of the field and make your deck almost immune to cards like Imperial Primal Being, Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom, and of course monster effects on their turn is kind of crazy. And Kozmoll Dark Lady only has 2 printings. One is an ultra rare in what I believe is a Battles of Legends set, and the other one is a secret rare from a set a long time ago. This one is a buy for me. Now, I do have a couple of more cards that I am excited to talk about, and it's simply because not only most of them have modern relevancy, they also have Genesis relevancy. like Ultimate Slayer being an extremely good card in Genesis, and as of making this video, it is a zero cost card, which I think it should stay that way. It's not gonna stay that way, is it? Board breakers are at their peak right now, so if you can play a Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that doesn't need its entire extra deck, Ultimate Slayer could be your card. So I would say that this card's price across the board, from the super rares all the way to the Starlight rares, are 100% justified. It was only a matter of time before this card became disgustingly good, and in a board breaker format, that's where it fits. Rescue Ace just got new support, but I'm gonna tell you guys right now, it's buns. It is literally the end of a hot dog eating convention. All buns, no dog. Players still have been purchasing Rescue Ace cards, and I think outside of Rescue Ace Impulse and Fire Attacker, this is a complete no-no. Rescue Ace Impulse and Fire Attacker themselves are a little bit trickier because as I'm making this video, the Genesis list isn't out, so you can pretty much disregard Rescue Ace entirely if these cards have received a point increase. And lastly is Synchro Harmonic Fusion, a card that lets you Synchro Summon and Fusion Summon. Brother, this card's trash. I see what you're doing here. There's actually a couple of decks that can use it. Brother, give it up. While I do respect that this card is in a set that no one really wants to get right now, I don't think it's the time for this card to shine. But that is all that I have for the buyouts that are incoming, if you should pick them up or not. Of course, big dogs, you probably have some cards you want to share with the team. Go ahead and let me know down below in the comment section. Also, be sure to check out these videos so I can catch you on the next one.